Ever imagined a car part just like detaching in the middle of a drive, and turning into like a projectile?
Oh, yeah.
Well, for some GMC Sierra owners, that nightmare's a reality.
Wow.
So we're talking about a recall of over 70,000 GMC Sierra 1,500 trucks, all from the 2022 model year.
Okay.
And the reason is their front grills might detach.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, you heard that right? The grill, the whole
The
thing.
whole grill.
Yeah, and it's kind of crazy, right? Like
Yeah.
you wouldn't think a grill would be such a big deal,
Right.
but when you think about it, it's a pretty big and heavy piece of metal
It is, yeah.
flying off at, highway speeds.
Yeah, that's a scary thought.
So we're going to dive deep into this today. We've got the official recall notice from the National Highway Traffic Safety Administration,
Okay.
the NHTSA,
Right.
and some really interesting conversations that have been happening online, particularly on Reddit.
I bet.
So whether you're a truck owner yourself thinking about buying one or just love a good what were they thinking story, this deep dive is for you.
All right, let's get into it.
So what's the deal here? Why are these grills flying off?
Well, it looks like the issue is with a specific trim piece that holds the chrome grill deflector.
A chrome grill deflector.
You know that shiny part on the front
Right.
to the hood of the truck.
Okay.
And so this trim piece can apparently break, and when it does, the whole grill can
From the whole thing.
Yeah.
So it's not just like a loose part rattling around. It's like the whole grill coming off.
Exactly. And I mean, like you said earlier, that's a pretty big piece of metal flying around
Right.
at, potentially high speeds.
Yeah, I mean, could you imagine like driving down the highway and suddenly having to dodge a grill
Yeah.
coming at you?
It's definitely a safety hazard.
Yeah, it's a major safety hazard.
For sure, for the driver of the truck and anyone else on the road.
Absolutely. And the thing is, this isn't just like, a theoretical risk.
Right.
The NHTSA, they've already received over 1,200 field reports about this problem.
12?
Yeah.
Yeah.
And those include at least 4 alleged accidents.
Wow.
That's a lot.
Yeah, that's a lot of reports for something like a grill.
Right. And it's interesting because, like I mentioned before, there's been some chatter about this on Reddit.
Mm-hmm.
And some Sierra owners were talking about this issue even before the recall was announced.
Oh, really?
Yeah, like there was one user who had to actually pay out of pocket to replace their entire grill
Ow.
just a few months ago.
Ouch.
And now with the recall, they can actually seek reimbursement from GM.
Well, at least there's that.
Yeah, so if you happen to be a 2022 Sierra owner,
Right.
especially one with that chrome grill option,
Okay.
definitely check your VIN
Yeah.
on the NHTSA website and see if your truck's included in the recall.
Good advice.
Yeah, and it's worth noting that this recall is very specific to trucks from the 2022 model year with a chrome grill.
Right.
And GM estimates that only about 3% of those trucks are actually affected.
3%.
Yeah, it seems like a small number.
Right.
That still translates to thousands of vehicles
Thousands, yeah.
potentially driving around with this defect.
And that's why they've issued a stop sale
Exactly.
on all affected Sierras.
New and used.
Yep. Until they figure out a fix.
It's just kind of crazy to think that, this whole thing seems to have come about because GM wanted to give the Sierra a wider and bolder grill.
It's ironic, isn't it?
It really is.
Like they were going for, a more aggressive look.
Right.
And it ended up being a safety hazard.
Makes you wonder about like the balance, between aesthetic
Aesthetics, yeah.
and functionality.
Yeah, like did they prioritize the look over the actual, structural integrity of the component?
Exactly.
It's hard to say for sure, but it definitely raises some questions about the whole design and testing process in the auto industry.
Definitely does. So for our listeners out there who are either Sierra owners or thinking about buying one,
Yeah.
what can they do to be safe?
Well, first things first, check your VIN.
On the NHTSA website.
Yeah, make sure your truck isn't part of the recall.
Good advice.
And then, just be aware of the potential risk.
Right.
And maybe, consider avoiding vehicles with this type of grill.
At least until there's a fix.
Exactly.
Yeah. It's a good reminder that, staying informed about these vehicle recalls is really important.
Absolutely. Take those recalls seriously.
Yeah.
They're there for a reason.
Yeah. For everyone's safety.
So in the meantime, stay safe out there and
Yeah.
maybe give those chrome grills a little extra space on the road.
You never know.
You never know when one might decide to make a break for it.
That's a good point. Well, thanks for joining us for another deep dive.
Of course, my pleasure.
Until next time.
See you then.